Of emergency workers battling to put out devastating forest fires in Spain. Firefighting of a different sort on the economic front after reports Spain's indebted regions need help fuels fears it'll become the fourth Eurozone member to ask for a major bailout. Berenberg Bank's Christian Schulz joins me now to discuss the very latest on the crisis. Christian, is your money on a full bailout?
Well, it looks increasingly likely that we might see this. The problems in the Spanish regions are not really new, but they have a profound impact on the markets. It seems that the one problem, the banks, has been addressed. Now the second big problem, the regions, seems to be tipping Spain over the edge. It seems that one of the problems is that the Spanish credit rating is so close to junk status that these problems of the regions might just tip Spain over, and that a sovereign bailout, a full sovereign bailout might be necessary.
And what is the timing on this, do you think? How quickly could this happen?
Well, Europe is really in a vulnerable position at the moment because with only the EFSF, the temporary fund, available, and that fund having spent almost 3/4 of its full capacity already, or at least committed it on Portugal, on Greece, on Ireland, and on the Spanish bank bailout, there's really not that much in the kitty at the moment to really put together a big bailout for Spain. They might have to wait until September when the ESM, the Permanent Rescue Fund, with 500 billion in fresh money comes into place. So probably before September we will only see sort of temporary fixes rather than a full bailout.
And where does that leave Italy? Is there enough money even with the ESM to save it?
Well, there might be some funds available in the ESM for again a temporary fix, something like a flexible credit line, especially if the IMF comes to the rescue as well. But clearly, that's not sufficient to really impress the markets. For that, we would probably need the backup from the ECB. So the moment of truth for the ECB might actually be quite close if Spain really falls by September and Italy gets into trouble again as well, which at the moment, luckily, we must say Italy is doing much better than it was, for instance, last November. But if Italy gets into trouble, then it might be down in the end to the ECB to back this whole thing up.
How significant, Christian, is this ban on short selling of financials in Spain? Does that suggest the banking crisis is worse than expected?
Well, it's a reminder of previous waves of the Eurozone crisis, or indeed of the financial crisis in general. These short-term attempts by the authorities, by the market authorities, to control speculation and to really curb the most imminent impacts on lenders and on critical institutions have happened before. It's a good sign that things are really not going well in the markets, but they're obviously not going to be a fix for the problem.
Just want to finish up with a comment on Greece. Of course, these comments that Greece is now in a Great Depression. What do you feel when you hear language like that coming out of Greece? Does it create this whole self-fulfilling prophecy, if you like, for Greece?
Well, yes. My first reaction to when I heard, for instance, German politicians or German media quoting the IMF saying that Greece will not get further funding and that they might default and exit the Eurozone, and that would be sustainable for the Eurozone as a whole, were that this is probably just posturing ahead of the negotiations that might potentially happen with Greece. But it must be said that these threats could be quite serious. Even Angela Merkel, the Chancellor, has said that she doesn't want to see another bailout program for Greece, which means she won't have the German parliament, the Bundestag, vote on it. And if there's no vote in the Bundestag, there won't be a third bailout for Greece. So the pressure is really on Greece at the moment.
All right, Christian, many thanks for talking with us. Christian Schulz of Berenberg Bank. Do follow all our programs on our Twitter feed, @Reuters Insider. I'm Axel Threlfall. This is Reuters.